Hello YouTube, you're with Got That Funk. Welcome to Monday's edition of The Breakfast Club. I wanted to make a longer video tonight, but unfortunately I say unfortunately, by surprise I've had friends come from America to visit and they wanted me to show them around London, so that's what I've been doing for the previous part of the evening. And now it's really late and I've got to be up for work in 5.5 hours, so this is going to be a bit brief. Recently, Trump announced in his State of the Union address that he intends to increase military spending by approximately 9%. Which is $54 billion in the first year, and then raising that up to a further $30 billion after that, the year after. So he wants to increase military spending by $84 billion. And Trump has also made a big hullabaloo about how he wants to upgrade and increase the stockpile of nuclear weapons that the United States has. We already have more nuclear weapons than any other country in the world, by a large margin. And I've said this before on the Breakfast Club, and I have to say it again. It's my opinion there's no such thing as the responsible use of nuclear weapons. And I would hope that we could all agree, no matter what your political viewpoint might be, whether you're north, south, east, or west on the political spectrum, I hope we can agree that nuclear weapons should never ever be used as a first strike option, no matter what. Can we agree on that? Is that something we can agree on? Can we at least agree that nuclear weapons should never be used except for self-defense from a nuclear attack that's already happened or is in the process of happening? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that there's no such thing as a terrorist incident that would justify a nuclear strike against another country unless that country was specifically involved in striking us with a nuke? These are questions which really burden my mind, because it just, with Trump wanting to increase the stockpile and increase the spending to such a wide margin, I would be quite understanding for the rest of the world to get a bit twitchy about that. You know, why do we even want to risk starting another arms race? It took fucking 60 years to end the last arms race, and we're not any more prosperous because of it, really. You know, there are still missiles in silos and on submarines and in planes, ready to strike at any moment. So even though the Cold War is technically over, we're really not that much safer. We just stopped worrying about it so much because the Soviet Union ceased to be communist, basically. But yeah, the bottom line is these weapons still exist. And getting a new generation of weapons carries with it a certain number of problems as well. Because one of the things that the Pentagon has been asking for, if we do get a new generation of nuclear weapons, is that they want to have more battlefield nuclear weapon options. In other words, smaller yield weapons that can be used for more precision strikes in a battlefield scenario. And you might think, well, hey, if they're lower yield nukes and they're not going to kill like everybody for miles and miles and miles around, isn't that a good thing? Wouldn't it be better to have some of those nuclear weapons? No, of course not, because the point is that weapons like that will get used. If you have intercontinental ballistic missiles and so on, whose use will devastate a wide area, you have an incentive not to use them. Once we start lobbing nuclear weapons back and forth at one another with our adversaries, we invite the use of nuclear weapons from other countries. I would have thought that was obvious. So even small yield battlefield usage is just a retarded, ridiculous idea. I hope we can agree on this. If you think that nuclear weapons are just a bomb with a big explosion, I think you really need to learn a lot more about just what they do, what the long-term effects of a nuclear conflict would be. The fact is that nuclear proliferation is only going to get worse. It's only a matter of time before more and more countries have the bomb. And the very worst thing the United States can do, since we're already the only country in the world who's ever used nuclear weapons on another population, the worst thing we can do is to normalize the use of nuclear weapons. Thanks for watching this video. I look forward to a lively discussion in the comments section. Sister Danger should be here for tomorrow's video. I'll see you again next week. See you then.